Am I going to see a massive junk here soon or something?
So he's going.
Is this safe for
he's
YouTube?
Probably just going to just do some exposition.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the special January Jam edition of the It's Based Spotlight. Today, we're going to be looking at Occult Chambers with VK Samhit of Born Monkey Games, or you are the studio. So thank you, VK, for allowing us to try out this game and have this discussion with you. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, tell us a little bit. First off, tell us a little bit about the game you're going to be showing us, so that we're going to be looking at. Duke is going to be playing it, so
Hello.
it's going to be all of his experiences. Tell us, what is Occult Chambers?
So, Occult Chambers is a third-person action horror game set in Indian Himalayas and explores a lot of Agori subculture that is part of Indian mythology. Agori subculture is known for doing all these mystical rituals and very occult practices within the Indian mythology. So our game explores a lot of these subculture elements and is a very dark setting.
Wow.
So it sounds
cool.
Yeah, it sounds really interesting and cool. Okay.
So we play as this main character, Dhruv.
You don't have that.
You don't know that.
So you can see there is a spirit that's talking to Dhruv, right? So that is Karna. That is a spirit that is a companion in the game, which does the primary job of, we know that, this game is going to be played by a lot of people that are outside India. They might not know about the Indian mythology. So we have a companion that just fills up the main character and then also the player while playing the games.
Right on.
That's very cool. I actually always wanted to see games that sort of explore, different cultures and mythologies, but in a way that it's, you can tell it's coming from a place of authenticity. What's the thing in his hand that he's holding?
So this is an Indian, this is a weapon picked right from the Indian mythology. It's called Katwanga. So it's made from the bones of dead Agoris. So they, in our game, the weapon is made through a ritual where Agoris sacrifice themselves and then their bones are used
Doesn't look like that.
to make this weapon.
If only there were a spirit that knows everything.
So this weapon that we have is directly from the mythology. So you can cast spells using this weapon. This is like your primary, way to have combat in the game.
Yeah, to deal with confrontations.
Yeah. So there's as we progress through the game will explain you how to use spells in this with the staff. So the spell system itself.
Oh my god, what is that?
I think you died. Whoa.
What happened?
I think you were teleported to a different place.
Yeah, it looks like you're somewhere else. You faced some guy. So there's magic, there's like occult elements. It's all cultural and related, to like Indian mysticism and occultism and mythology. And I assume that there are also like spirits or monsters or gods or demons or things like that. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
You don't want to.
So we.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So we don't use the direct gods in the game, just to keep it clean in the sense that we don't offend people. We do have a lot of spirits and creatures that are inspired from the mythology, like the mythical creatures from the mythology. So you get to fight a 5-headed snake. You get to fight Yali. There are a bunch of mythology, creatures that were reimagined from the Indian mythology put into the game.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sorry if this is going to sound repetitive, but I'm just curious. How can you tell? I mean, you would know better than I don't think definitely better than me. How would you know when you are adapting something that is not going to be controversial versus something that could be controversial? Like, where do you draw the line?
Yeah, so as long as we are respectful and also the adaptation is coming from a place of respect, I think that there's going to be less, controversy around it. That has been like our philosophy, and
Whoa.
we also do a lot of private playtests in the Discord server with gamers to also check on this, check on the fact that are we offending people with mythology.
You can reload it, and it looks like you have
Awesome.
the on the staff. I'm sorry, what is the thing called again? I want to try and use the correct lingo. The scepter that he's using, Katwanga.
Yeah. Katwanga.
So on the
Katwanga,
is that right? Katwanga.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. On the Katwanga, there's like a light. Are there different lights that sort of tell you, like if what magic you have or how much you have? Kind of like Dead Space. You ever play Dead Space? And how everything is sort of on the character, that's kind of like the vibe I'm getting. Is that why there's a little yellow light there? Is to tell you to the player?
Yeah, you caught that very well, because in the very beginning of the project, a lot of UI was diegetic. There was no UI on screen. Most of it was inside the game. But then we did a lot of playtesting, and it was very hard for people to figure out that small dot is the indicator for your prana. So even right now, if you're running out of prana, that light dims and then completely goes off. So you have your feedback inside the game as a diegetic UI, and also in the UI.
Yes, yeah. So okay, super cool. So this is.
Am I going to see a massive junk here soon or something?
So he's going.
Just same for YouTube.
Probably just going to just do some exposition here, and then you'll be back.
So I noticed that there's some traversal mechanics. Is that purely contextual, or is it sort of built in? Like where you can climb on. If you see something, you maybe can climb there, or is it just contextual?
Yeah, so as I said, like the game is very linear, considering that we are an indie team, and the scope is, quite tight for a small team like us. So, as you mentioned, then most of it is pretty much contextual. Like if there is a climb section there, then you get to see the prompts there. Pretty similar to how God of War 2018 does it.
There's nothing wrong with that. I don't mind a linear experience if it's sort of like what's the word I'm looking for? If it's like packed full of content, I don't mind if it's linear. It's one of those. What do you call those? They look like zombies, but what would you call them?
Yeah, so these are like undead agoris. So they came back. You could also do melee and save up on the
melees. How do you do melee?
So you could middle mouse button to lock him.
Is there a lock on? Okay. Yeah, you were using your ammo a lot. Maybe you can melee more of these guys. What other mechanics are there? Is there like a dodge or a block?
Yeah, you could if you hit spacebar, he rolls. He does evade, and then if you double tap spacebar, he will roll.
Okay. Do you hear that, Duke? You can roll.
Roll?
Double tap the spacebar when you're. Is it like when you're locked on, or just anytime? Oh yeah, look at that.
Anytime, yeah.
Get your Dark Souls on. Is this your first like larger budget title for console or PC?
Yeah, I would say like the first one for PC. We've not done PC games before. So this would be like our first Steam game, like PC. Yeah.
It's really cool.
It is very cool. Did you use any for the character animations like this guy? Are these just like done in the engine, or do you have like motion capture, or like I don't know, how did you do it?
Yeah, so these are all keyframed animations. Like motion capture is a bit, out of budget for us at this point. But yeah, like so we use Unreal has simplified a lot of animation pipelines. So we animate the characters within the engine. We don't have to go through a 3D software like Blender or Maya for that instance. So we animate the characters within the engine. So this is fairly faster than the traditional way of animating with hand. So that way we're saving time of like moving between softwares. Have a lot of freedom to iterate within the engine.
Is this pre-alpha build or alpha build? I mean, it looks really
this
good.
This is very much like internal builds, right? Now these are just like dev builds that we show to publishers or investors, or we do a playtest on our Discord server. That's about it. This is nowhere near the release quality for sure.
And
I think it was really cool. Oh, look at that guy. Oh, he's scary. Is this like a boss fight? It's like a boss fight.
wait for an opening. So what is this this creature? Or is that a spoiler?
No,
I killed you.
Give me real.
So if you were picking up all the letters and like
the notes
that we have, documents, it would fill in on why this character and why this creature is here and why is it protecting this area. There's a lot of lore that's being taken care of by these documents that you find.
Duke, you should have been reading the letters. Now you're not prepared.
We get your way in here.
Yeah. Yep. So, going back to the, so there's been this talk about, I saw that there was a video you did, Samith, and you were on the TMI show, and you were talking about how H-1B visas impact people in India as well. This has been a topic of conversation recently, and I thought I would bring it up, especially because you appear to be someone who's, trying to build your own business here, and I think that you guys are showing a lot of promise, and you have a good team, and you're working hard. So, what are your thoughts on that whole situation?
I mean, to be very honest, there is a constant cycle of brain drain from India, which is very, very,
Oh yeah.
A lot of people. The primary reason being that the incentive to stay in the country has been very little for the last 10 years. The taxation has been ridiculously increased. We have about 30% tax at the year end on all your earnings, and
wow.
Anything that you buy, the VAT, the GST in the country is about 18 to 28%, which is very high.
Oh man, that's almost as bad as in Sweden, man.
Yep. But the catch is, you don't get anything back from the government. Like, there's not great education system built there. There's not a lot of health insurance or like healthcare system built.
Yeah, that's why it sounds wild that it's so much there.
You pay so much, but you don't get anything in return. So people start leaving the country, and it has been a big problem lately. If you see in the last 10 years, we had like massive, brain drain happening. That is people leaving the country because, that it's not incentivizing to stay and pay taxes in this country.
Yeah.
That has been the case. Yeah,
you're right about the brain drain thing. It's one of the things that people don't typically talk about, because you have to ask the question like, do I go to another country because, oh my goodness, Ow. Ow. That's a really tender spot that he's hitting. But you're somehow okay. I don't...
Well, I'm a man of culture.
Freeze it.
I'm trying to.
Oh, you don't have any power. Come on, dude. Get him.
That's how it is when you're a pleb, you know. You don't
Get
have
him.
any
Get him.
power.
Yeah, this is going to be hot. But yeah, like, do you, you know, like, I think maybe it depends, I guess, on like the amount of loyalty you have to your own country. You're right about the brain drain. I think this is, you know, it's almost too easy to go somewhere else than maybe try to make things better at home, you know?
Yeah,
And I mean,
yeah, that's true.
oh, you beat him.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's dead. He's completely dead. Yep.
Yeah, you got
My
him.
game.
Hey.
I have to. Mhm.
You can just walk towards the light and you get your final cutscene.
Is there, oh, this is the end of the demo?
Yep.
Look at that.
I mean,
Really
once
cool.
you learn the heavy spells, the game gets easy. So it's just
Dhruv,
forcing
my
you to
son,
learn the heavy spells.
I have anticipated your arrival.
It's fine
And
to
I
fail
know
a couple of times. That's
search
what makes the
for
games fun.
You won't find
Yeah.
it here.
I'm really happy
Turn
you don't
back
have
now
the yellow
before
stuff
it's too
everywhere in the
late.
game.
Yeah, the yellow paint, right? To guide
Yeah,
people.
yellow
anyone.
paint showing you
Especially
this.
not the Bhairava clan. Let me spell it
So are
out
there
for
going to
you
be,
one
well,
last
wait till
time.
this is finished. I'll ask you some more
Don't
questions.
follow the train. Go home.
Oh, go home. Funny
Seems appropriate.
Choose
when you were talking.
this.
Yeah, sort of.
Do you truly believe he did all that as they claimed? What will you do when you finally face him?
I really hope I don't fucking kill him.
Potty mouth. It was pretty violent, though. Anyone who's into mythology is into all different kinds of mythology. They don't have
Yes.
to necessarily be convinced that, oh, this is, you know, you should like this because it's Indian or African or Middle Eastern or whatever, Chinese. I think that people just want to see something fresh. That's why Black Myth Wukong was so successful. They didn't have to sell it. They just showed this is, you know, from sort of Taoist mythology. I think this is definitely right in that vein, right? You can sell it that way without having to convince people, because it's right there. That's what I'm saying. See, the way that without, I don't want to get too on my pedestal or soapbox about this, but the way that diversity is usually marketed, it's very forced, and it doesn't really have like love for whatever it is. It's just there on this very surface level. It's very shallow. This looks like it's well researched. The people involved feel strongly about it. They think that there's definitely a richness there, and I think that's it. Like, that's how you do it. I don't know if you agree with me, Samhith, but that's what I think.
Yeah, so you know, whenever there is diversity or like trying to do something that is diverse, right? Like I feel like people that are you know, have the voice or like are willing to tell that story, if they are involved with the project and if they're genuine, that would show in the project for sure. I won't feel forced. Which
See,
is what is happening with a lot of games lately. But
that's right. I think the thing is that
well, instead of doing an Indian tour, it's better to do a really cool Indian story, right?
Right. It takes place in this already existing rich, you know, mythology that we already have, and so
Man, they have
I think
like
that
6,000 years of history, right?
exactly. Yeah, and the thing is that basically this isn't really so much diversity as it is authenticity. And I think authenticity is what people are looking for. So the game is called Occult Chambers. What is it that Blizzard used to say? It'll be done when it's done.
I would love you guys to like play it on launch.
Oh,
yeah,
100%.
if that definitely. I can demo it on my own channel too. If you can get me a builder or something like the one he's got.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, sounds cool. And thanks, guys, for joining us on the It's Based Spotlight of Occult Chambers. See you guys later.